Hello, friends. So, yesterday I was on Times Now debate, 9 p.m., and the important topic was this citizenship applications being invited from Hindus, Sikhs, Jain, Buddhist, Christians, Parsis, basically the minorities in Muslim majority countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. That has been challenged in the Supreme Court by IUML, a Congress ally from the state of Kerala. What is this thing about legally? And a lot I will speak what is this about morally. And I wanted to do this live because in the end I will take your questions on this. Because legally and morally we need to discuss both. Second, we need to discuss the double speak of Congress on CAA, even though this is not under CAA. And IUML, we will discuss that also. And the law and the logic behind it. So I will cover a lot of topics in this because I feel deeply about this topic. I feel seriously about this topic, that this was the very least which could have been done decades ago. Anyways, let me start in a sequence. If you are joining for the first time, please subscribe to this. Lot of rumors are being spread as if this is a anti-Muslim move, as if this is a communal move, and I will discuss all that also. And you ask your questions. We have to address this issue head on. What is Bharat as a nation? What is the laws of Bharat? And why do they make these laws? We have to discuss all of this head on straight. So do subscribe and do like the video and do share it with all your friends. We need to bust certain myths. Starting from the first point. There is demonstrable data that minorities in these three countries, and minorities there are what? In Pakistan, what is the minority? In Afghanistan, what is the minority? In Bangladesh, what is the minority? Hindus are minority. Sikhs are minority, and etc. I will not keep repeating the six minorities because it will waste your time. So, are the minorities there? So the two questions which arise. One, do they face persecution there? Do they face conditions in which there are reports every few months of abductions of young girls, of abduction of, I don't even want to get into all that, what happens after abduction, because it will just upset you and upset me. We all know the reports of what is happening there. Second aspect of forced conversions. We all know what is happening on forced conversions there. So this is the ground reality we are dealing with. So what happens? This government first brings a CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. Broadly, it says these six minorities, Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, Jain, Buddhist, Christians, who were in India before 31st December 2014, certain conditions, would be eligible for citizenship. Act 1955, for which they had the powers. So let me first come to the instant thing and the challenge by IUML. First part is this. IUML has a problem because these six categories have been included. And it's their right to challenge it in Supreme Court. No problem. But Indian Constitution has number of provisions for minorities. Number of provisions for minority in the fundamental rights itself. Start reading from Article 25 onwards. So Indian law has always recognized a concept of special protection for minorities. Ab, who are the minorities in India? Muslims, Sikhs, etc. So in India, you have special provisions for Muslims because they are minority. Even though we had just had partition, India as a country decided we will give special protection to minorities. Now, Indian government makes a law for minorities of these three Islamic majority countries. So I'm just giving you in context what is the logic behind this. So when you can make laws for Indian minorities as a separate category, very well recognized in law, whether it is right or wrong is a matter of a very separate debate. But the law allows it, right? The law massively, and there are various judgments which allow special provisions, from education to running their religious institutions, multiple judgments. So the law recognizes this. Similarly, when you try to do this for minorities of these three countries, that is logic. Now let's come to this, what has happened here. We are in COVID. For COVID, you need Aadhaar, you need documentations. That is Indian citizens. That was one of the arguments on the Times Now debate I was. And that's a very legitimate argument. That's an argument that there is an emergency, that these people from whom you have invited citizenship, and let me explain you what has been invited. That will also be good for you to put that context. What has happened is the government passed a notification that people living in these districts, Morbi, Rajkot, Patan, Vadodara of Gujarat, Durg, Balobda Bazar in Chhattisgarh, Jalore, Udaipur, Pali, Barmer, Sirohi in Rajasthan, Faridabad in Haryana, and Jalandhar in Punjab, they can apply and get citizenship. So firstly, citizenship is a union subject, but the center keeps delegating powers. It has the power to delegate its powers to the state. This is what they apparently have done. Delegated their power to the state, because one thing we have to remember, this is not under CAA. This is under the original act. Is this the first time this is being done? No. This has been done in 2016. This has been done in 2018. So I don't understand why there's controversy now. The controversy now is because the people who have challenged it, IUML, and just for the record, if you want to know what is the full form of IUML, it is Indian Union Muslim League. So a party which names itself as Indian Union Muslim League, you can be well aware of what their aims would be, what their aspirations would be. I will not get into it in depth. The name sometimes is very clear. A lot of people are asking me, yes, this is an English channel. I speak in English there. The Hindi channel is the other channel. If you're watching for the first time on the English channel, you can subscribe to it. Here I do different discussions, and on Hindi I do different discussions, including one I'm doing this week on कितनी पुरानी है भारत की civilization. How old is our civilization? It is a unique, continuous civilization. वो मैं हिंदी पे करूँगा. So you can subscribe there. Here I do in English, and if you understand English, which a lot of you do, please subscribe to the channel. Anyways, so as I was saying, this Indian Union Muslim League has challenged a decision which grants citizenship to these people. Congress, when CAA came, did a lot of protests. So I would like to show how Congress has changed its position. Not in my words, in the words of the former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Do you have 1 minute to hear it? Today they oppose CAA. Various leaders have opposed it. Today, one of their allies is challenging giving of citizenship to these people, right? But let us hear what they were saying in 2003. It is very important. Dr. Manmohan Singh. Okay, I'll have to see where is the one sec. Yeah. Okay, share audio also. And do share this with your friends. I will not need to say anything more after this, though I will speak on the morality of it. But I don't need to speak more after what Dr. Manmohan Singh's words are there. Here I share the video. This is 2003. Can you see it on your screen? Can you see? And it is not a magazine something which is supportive of BJP. Outlook, you know how much it has attacked the government. So I'll write to bring those magazines which attack the government so that you know that these magazines are covering this. In 2003, speaking in Rajya Sabha, Dr. Manmohan Singh, then leader of opposition, asked for a liberal approach to granting citizenship to minorities. Remember the word minorities. What are the minorities there? Hindu, Sikhs, etc., who are facing persecution. But this is not enough, right? This is me reading. This is me reading. You must hear the good doctor's own words. So I enlarge the screen and I start with the good doctor's own words.
While I am on this subject, madam, I would like to point out that with regard to the treatment of refugees, after the partition of our countries, the minorities in countries like Bangladesh have...
Did you hear the word? After the partition of the country, the minorities, he is specifically saying minority, legally speaking, in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. He is talking about minorities. So please hear it. This is the good doctor, the former prime minister, then leader of opposition's own words, where L.K. Advani ji is sitting and hearing him, and I think it's Pramod Mahajan ji next to him.
Like Bangladesh, have faced persecution. Like Bangladesh, minorities in countries, the minorities in countries like Bangladesh have faced persecution, and it is our moral obligation that if circumstances force people, these unfortunate people, to seek refuge in our country.
I stop here. What did I say? It is a moral argument. Let me stop here and I'll bring it back to this. He speaks about minorities and says it is our moral obligation. आज कहाँ मर गई morality यार? आज कहाँ मर गई morality आपकी? आज कहाँ मर गई? This is not BJP, this is not Congress. This is those Hindu Sikhs जिनका धर्म स्थल is Bharat, Jains, Buddhists, etc. I'm saying, and they are facing persecution. So in 2003, forget BJP, Congress was supporting it. Dr. Manmohan Singh was supporting it because it is morality. We will discuss the law. I have told you under the law, this is not under CAA. This is not under CAA. Even though Indian Union Muslim League feels it is under the CAA, it is not. The law is very clear. But forget the law for a second. These are about morality also. And what is the morality by the honorable leader of opposition of then and prime minister? Here is further. Two words important: minority, morality. I will make you hear the full speech.
Our approach to granting citizenship to these unfortunate persons should be both liberal. I sincerely hope that the Honorable...
Our approach to granting them citizenship should be, to these unfortunate people, should be more liberal. Ab kya bolu? Should be more liberal. Let's hear it further. Ridiculous people.
Deputy Prime Minister will bear this in mind in charting out the future course of action with regard to the Citizenship Act. Thank you.
So, you heard it. Advani ji was the Deputy Prime Minister. Three things they said. Okay, that is a joke. Three things. One, persecution. Second, minority. Third, a more liberal approach to granting them citizenship. This was the Congress view. What changed? What changed in this view? That when CAA came, we heard so many voices from Congress opposing it. And now when citizenship is being granted under Citizenship Act, We hear so many voices opposing it when they themselves had wanted it. And this is not me, this is their language, very clear language, very explicit language. So, what is the problem? Is the problem vote bank? And now let me talk it logically also. All religions born on the land of Bharat, where would they go if they face persecution? Where do they go if they face persecution? Please tell me that. Some people, Hindus and Sikhs, came to India when partition happened, Jains, Buddhists, etc. came to India when 1947 happened. Some thought that they would be able to live in these countries peacefully as minorities with rule of law ensured, with their rights ensured. They thought that, and they didn't come because it's not easy to shift. So many must have had their businesses there, so many must have had their properties there. I tell any one of you today, in COVID, we have all become more sensitive. But I ask any one of you today, with your businesses, to wake up, shift, and move to what is, if you are in, let's say, Bihar, move to Tamil Nadu. If you are in Tamil Nadu, move to Madhya Pradesh. Because that time it was all one Bharat. But a line was being built, right? A line was being made. I ask you to shut your businesses in Karnataka, your house, which you have to sell at God knows what price because so many are selling their houses, and most probably your house is going out for free. And I tell you to move to Kashmir, or I tell you to move to Delhi. Lot of you will move because you know what is happening. Lot of you will not move thinking that our neighbors with whom we have lived for centuries, our families have lived for centuries, will be nice to us even if we are a minority. But what happened in reality? We all know that. What happened in Bangladesh? How the Hindu population has gone down. The reports of atrocities in Pakistan. So now, those people who are facing persecution want to come to India. Is it not our moral duty? I said law to hai hi hai. Law mein I have no doubts. I have no doubts this is legal and constitutional. Among many other factors, thank you for liking it, among many other factors, because Indian constitution does recognize the principle of laws for minorities that our constitution recognizes. All we have done is said Indian minority ke liye we make laws, so for minorities here we are making laws. That is all we have done. अब कितनी मिर्च लग रही है? क्यों? When in Indian constitution you have laws for minorities, and there are a lot of arguments. One argument is, what is minority? Should the law recognize that after a certain level of national population, you are not minority, but you are the second majority? I'm giving you an example. Can the constitution, what is the definition of minority is a very important question. उस पे भी legal challenges चल रहे हैं, constitution benches चल रही हैं. There are certain states in which Hindus are minorities. There are challenges happening. There is a view. This is not I don't think so anybody has challenged it, but I think there is this lot of discussion on this, that what would be minority. If you are, let's say, 10% of population, are you a minority or are you a second majority? I can understand 1%, 2%, 3% being minority and needing some special protections. That is a question that is up for debate. That's a public debate, a legal constitutional question of what should be minority. But that is not relevant to this topic. I just want to leave in your mind what will be the definition of minority. But minority laws are there. All this has done is just said, when we make laws for minority in India, we are making laws for minority of these countries. And now my second question to you. Is there a Hindu country Hindus can go? Is there a Sikh countries they can go? Where can Jain Buddhists go? And India has even invited, and even in these categories included Christians. Even though they have other countries, but we have said that pre-independence, we were one country, and their roots and their language and their behavior pattern and the way they want to live, we are saying, please let Christians also be here from these countries. right? So I don't understand where is the problem that Indian Union Muslim League challenges it. It's their constitutional right to challenge it. Let them. That is the beauty of India. We have an Indian Union Muslim League able to challenge granting of citizenship to Hindus, Sikhs, etc., who are facing persecution in Islamic majority nations. That is the beauty of Indian constitution. But when we are giving it to them, they want to block it. And I made you hear Dr. Manmohan Singh's own words. You think why this position has changed. And one more point, and I made this point on Times Now. The government is doing this right now because there is a COVID emergency. My view, COVID or no COVID, all those facing persecution there, who are minorities in those nations, should be brought and given citizenship in India. They have done it in an emergency, which is very right, which is very good. See, when the government does something bad, how many times have I spoken that the government has done this wrong, that wrong? Certain things they have done very, very right, including amongst them this. And you just see one thing. I'm giving you an example. There will be many more. Just one example, if I may show you. Punjab, Sikh refugee in Ludhiana expresses happiness over central government's decision to invite them to apply for Indian citizenship. I came here from Kabul, Afghanistan. In 2013, we are being forced to convert to Islam. We thank the government for this decision, said Amrik Singh. And you will get a lot more. In Rajasthan, so many Hindus say that they had to flee persecution. And across the board, Gujarat, you will find them. In fact, this is not even new. In 2018, and I'll show you this again. This is not me saying, just see for a second this. What is this 2018 news? 2018, 83 Hindus from Pakistan get Indian citizenship. As many as 83 Hindus hailing from Pakistan who migrated years ago are Indian citizens by British authorities. So it's not even new. We have kept doing it. We have kept doing it. Why this opposition now? That is something you have to be thinking. So you have to think who's actually communal. Who's actually communal? That's a decision you have to make. I hope I took a lot of your time. I took almost 25 minutes. I hope you have all understood the moral argument, the legal argument. And if a God is watching, I hope these people speak up for what they were speaking up in 2003 when Dr. Manmohan Singh was speaking. Please do share it with your friends and educate people. That is the purpose. And if you are joining for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Take care.